before Halloween.
Nice.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Let me jot those down. Horror movies. While we're talking about it, I'm just gonna write it down. Horror movies, costumes,
serial killers.
Adam's not even gonna have to do any research on that one.
That's gonna be hard for me to pick 10.
To narrow it down to only 10. Anything else that you talked about?
What's that?
Anything else that we mentioned, or is that it for now? Horror movies, costumes, serial killers.
Scariest places or scariest moments, something like that.
Scary moments.
Something scurry.
Yeah. Dude, do you remember I don't remember when this was in my college career compared to when I started hanging out with you. I almost think, I mean, we knew each other freshman year, but we didn't really hang out that much, if I'm not mistaken. And I think this was our freshman year. It was up towards, I think, Harbor Creek or something, and there was this road. Yeah, where you would like put the car in neutral
and roll up the hill.
And you would roll up the hill.
Yeah.
Really? Did you ever go up there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was super creepy and freaky because it was like right over the interstate too.
Yeah.
And it was not like, it was not a super steep incline. It was probably just an optical illusion. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Right.
It looked like it was a fairly decent hill you were going up. I mean, gravity doesn't work that way, but it sure freaked you out.
Yeah. No, it was cool. I remember doing that. You know what? I think we all went up there because Pat was working on one of his little.
Yeah, he was doing those skits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where it stemmed from because I knew all you guys at that time, but I was more of an West Sider. You guys were more of an East Sider.
Yeah.
I think that's how it went. Yeah, you guys were East Side. I was West Side. I was like the forbidden fruit, walking around with my pink slippers. Nobody wanted to interact with me except for all the hot girls.
I remember one time RRA went over and confiscated beer off of possibly you and drank it with us.
Who was your RA? Rummer?
Yeah.
Rummer never drank no beer with you.
Wait.
No, it was Jake.
Rummer was the head RA.
Yeah. Jake was cool. Jake actually partied with us before.
Yeah.
After that, like later in the year. He was super cool. I remember one time me and Willem took him it must have been in Willem's room. We saw him out and about. By this time, we kind of were comfortable with him. And we said something to him, basically like, hey, we're drinking in here. You want to come have a beer? And he came in there, and I'll never forget, first time he took a beer and he cracked it, and he took a sip of it. Me and Willem looked at each other, and we didn't say anything, but we made eye contact, and we were like, dude, we got him. Like, we're good. Like, forever, we're good from this moment forward.
You own him.
The one on our side was Ron Jeremy. Remember him?
Yeah. I got him doing a beer bong in our room.
Yeah, he used to drink with us all the time. He was a very unique person. Very super nice, but, it made sense that he was an RA at the age of 24.
You think Rummer ever touched any kids? He looked like a kid toucher.
I don't think Rummer ever touched any kids or any beer or anything else fun in his life.
So kids are fun, huh?
Didn't
start the intro.
Okay, you're putting words into my mouth. Maybe I said that wrong. Didn't somebody light his door on fire?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I can't remember what the story was, but somebody, I think, sprayed some type of aerosol something on his door and lit it on fire. Oh, jeez.
Damn it. Oh, jeez.
What's the problem? You ever see Mikey Mallon?
No. Not since I put on window.
Do you ever feel bad about that?
Not even once.
Do you have a guilty conscience about that? You should, dude. Hey! ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Master Debate with Quaid. I am your host, Quaid McDade. I'm joined by the same two knuckleheads once again, Nick and Adam. You can find us on Stitcher, Pinterest, Spotify, Facebook. We have a website. I don't know what it's called.
Kelly Digital Podcast.
KellyDigitalPodcast.com. It's very easy to remember. It's all one word, and it's very short. We do have a topic for the ages once again. Before we get to our topic, Adam is coming off a win. He claims that it happens every week. Nick claims that it happens every few weeks. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but anyhow, Adam, welcome to the show. What's happening?
Oh, not too much. Just another Tuesday night. Living.
And coming off a win, how do you feel? Just like every other week, I'm assuming?
Pretty much. I actually forgot I won, if you want to be honest with you.
It's that not important to you because it's just like every other week.
Just another day.
Did you get any sleep last night, or were you up all night watching the Steelers game?
I watched, I think 3/4 and around there. Stopped watching, and they almost lost. So
yeah, that's basically what I did too. I watched it till about halftime, and then I went to sleep. Which I'm a Browns fan, so I didn't have a dog in the fight. I was kind of uninterested, but I do have to say, I hope that you guys and also some people that are listening can appreciate the dick slinger that Ryan Fitzpatrick is, because he is one badass mofo. Nick, did you get any sleep last night? Did you watch the whole game or what?
Watched the whole game and got to bed around 12:30. And which was great because the young one woke up at 1:30 and decided to stay up till about 4:30.
Wow,
so,
lucky you.
Yeah. No, kids are great.
Do you share my perspective on Ryan Fitzpatrick and what an awesome character he is, and also how he doesn't give a shit? He threw 2 or 3 picks, and then he came right out and put up a 52-yard bomb, not giving a single shit.
I was impressed with his effort, but let's be honest, that defense is nothing to write home about. Writing home horror stories.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, but with that being said, he's also the first quarterback ever in the history of the NFL to throw for 400 yards or more in 3 consecutive games. That's saying quite a bit.
Yeah, that's really cool. But they're making the league so pussified anymore that,
that is true.
Numbers are inflated.
Yeah, those roughing the passers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard this today. I was listening. There's actually a handful of quarterbacks that are even coming out saying, like, yeah, listen, it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, let's jump right into tonight's topic. Our topic is the worst jobs ever to be had in the world. It is not necessarily the worst jobs that you've personally had, but this is the worst job that you could imagine having. So, Adam, I'm going to ask you to introduce your list of 10 to us first in no particular order.
Okay. No particular order. I have a telemarketer, a dentist, a prison guard, housekeeper, garbage man, police, a roofer, long-haul truck driver, slaughterhouse worker, and a honey dipper.
All righty. Very good. And Nick, would you please give us your 10 in no particular order?
A TSA agent, a DMV clerk, order filler in a warehouse, an Ebola doctor, a bank teller, a sanitary truck driver, a proctologist, a janitor in an adult theater, and a fluffer.
What was your first one? Would you say your first one again?
A postal worker.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure I had them all. Okay, so let me look at this real quick. Interestingly enough, I don't think we have any matches unless I'm missing something. No matches, correct?
Correct.
No. I mean, I have housekeeper and he has janitor, but not really the same thing.
No.
Yeah, I think those are very different things, especially in the context that they were presented. So we're going to say no matches. And Adam, since you're coming off a win last week, you have the opportunity to either bring one to the table first or let Nick bring one to the table first. There's some potential here for some very, very good arguments. Adam, what do you want to do?
All right. I'm going to go first, and I want you to imagine this. Nick, he just got done eating his breakfast burrito, drinking 3 cups of coffee. He's on the job. He goes into the shit house, and he drops an absolute bomb in there. And guess what your job is? Your job is to go in and suck that poop out. You are a honey dipper, in case you guys didn't know what that was.
Okay, we have a
I
match.
did not.
Why? What is your match?
Sanitary truck driver.
Timeout. I'll be the judge of that. Tell me in more detail what is a honey dipper, because I was thinking an actual like honey dipper with bees, and I was thinking, it'd be so bad because you get stung by bees or something.
No, I was. It's basically a guy who goes around sucking out the shit in septic systems and outhouses. You know, any place that needs shit sucked out. I didn't hear Nick. He must have broke up when he said that.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming you just didn't listen to him, which is fine. I totally understand that.
That's probably more likely.
I am going to say that they are close enough that we're going to say that there is a match. With that being said, I do want to give you both an opportunity to. We're going to push it through. Go ahead and elaborate a little bit on why that is such a shitty job, pun intended.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. So I worked road construction for a couple of summers, and we had this guy. He was an older guy. He was kind of like, he didn't really do much, but he was just kind of last couple of years before he retired. He had to take some medicine, which he was also a little crazy. But he took some medicine that made him like, must have had like spastic colon attacks like pretty much all day long. And if he was anywhere around our office, like he would go in and blow that toilet up. So basically we had one outhouse for all the guys who worked there. And we were college help. So we would work in the summers, and some of us would be out in the field. Some of us would be in around the office area, which isn't really an office. It's like an office trailer, washing trucks or just doing maintenance around the office. Well, 2 of the guys were at the office trailer doing work around the office, and this other older gentleman was there. And what's bad is the honey dipper had just came, and he came like I think once a week. So just imagine, this is first hour of it being clean for the week. This dude, not only did he shit in there, it was literally all over the walls. And the 2 guys that I worked with actually had to like try their best to clean it out, like with buckets of water, because it was such a fucking mess.
Why did he shit on the walls? I mean, that has nothing to do with how recently it had been cleaned. He didn't make it to the seat?
If you knew the guy, which you don't, and I don't really want to say anything too bad about him, but if you knew him, you would understand. The guy was filthy. He's disgusting. His hands were literally brown, and I'm not sure if it was from poop, but every morning we would have an crew meeting. And all the crews would be in there. And one of the guys we worked with, he was college help. His dad actually worked there. And his dad would mess with us every morning. He'd be like, hey, whatever this guy's name is. He goes, feel how soft his son's beard is. And he has these shitty hands. And he'd rub his beard like first thing in the morning. Wow. Or he would be like, hey, feel Adam's hair. And he would come over and he'd like try to touch us. I mean, every single morning. So then you have this poop hands rubbing your beard or your hair 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning every day.
Is it too late to add PennDOT worker to my list of worst?
Well, that's right. What it was. I worked for the Department of Transportation.
So real quick before Nick, you get a chance to talk and share your thoughts. There's a couple of things that I'll piggyback on what Adam talked about. First off, this past Friday, I had to have a colonoscopy. Holy shit. I don't know if anybody's ever had to do that before, but the prep going into that, you better buckle your seatbelt and not buckle it tight because you're going to have to take it off, and you're going to have to take it off often. It's going to have to be very quick. My goodness. The other one, I won't get into too much detail. We can talk about that off the air.
Aren't you a little young for that?
That's what I thought, but they told me otherwise. The stuff they took out of my insides. The other thing I was going to talk about was Adam. That reminded me of I think I was also in college. It was like a summer job or something, and I was piling lumber, like at a sawmill, and they just had a porta pot out there, and it had just recently been cleaned. And most of the people that were there apparently it just pissed in it. You know what I mean? So it was basically full of, not full, but everything that was in it was strictly liquid. And this is something I'll never forget as long as I live. I had to go to the bathroom very, very bad. Number 2, of course. And I sat down, I dropped that bomb. And unfortunately, it's one of the few times in my life where I shit solid. And it dropped all the way down there in that liquid, and it splashed all the way up onto my ass. It was one of the grossest experiences that I have been a part of, and I've been a part of some gross shit. So those are my couple of stories. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a text message. Nick, what are your thoughts on the sanitary truck driver?
Well, I didn't realize that they called them honey dippers. I was gonna put shit sucker, but I was like, you know what? I'll do what I think the official name is.
Yeah, I feel like shit sucker could be confused with a pornography job. But go ahead.
But yeah,
honey dipper is so appetizing though, Nick.
Yeah, right. I like it. So there was this one frack that I worked on where I'm not exaggerating when I say that the shit was piled up to about 6 inches from the seat.
Yeah.
And anybody who has to clean that out is really made some bad decisions in life. And you are working the worst job you could be working.
That's like we're on both our lists, but that's probably number 1.
Yeah, it's up there. It's gotta be.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I got a couple on my list that I think might surpass it, though.
Maybe. There's 2 quick stories. So, like, I go travel around shooting. I think that's where this happened. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was at like a concert or something. It was somewhere where the outhouses were completely full. I'm talking, it wasn't shooting. Like, all the way to the rim. And, like, there's this, I think it was at a concert, and this drunk lady went in. And someone said when she came out, there was literally butt cheek marks in the poop.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
I mean, people were dropping bombs. Wow. I have one other one, but I can't remember at the moment. But that is disgusting.
Jeez, where do we go from here?
Let's just wrap it up.
Yeah.
This was a really shitty start.
Bazing.
Okay, so real quick question before we move on to the next one. Honey dipper, is that like something you made up, or is that like common knowledge? Because I was out of the loop on that one.
I mean, I don't know if it's made up or not. That's just what I've always called him. My dad's always called him that. I mean, any construction job I've ever been in, we called him that. So
it must be like a construction term. You should ask your dad if he made it up or something, because I've never heard that before. Right. Yeah. I think it's hilarious and it's great. I was totally unaware of that.
I will be using that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, me too.
Damn it. Honey dipper's late again. I'm waiting to take this morning dump in that clean shitter.
Now,
did you guys ever hear? This is the other story. Did you guys ever hear of the guy like he was like a pervert, and what he did, like he went to like a public some sort of event, and he went down and jumped down into the shit water and would watch people take poops and pees?
That's not what I did. I cut a hole in the back. That was
no. This guy, they drug him out, and he was blue from head to toe. I mean, he had toilet paper and shit all over him. And he was like literally down there laying in that water.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Dude.
Look, someone like that, just execute them. They serve no purpose in society. They're not going to get better. Fucking kill them.
That's disgusting.
That's so disgusting. So disgusting. But so here's the thing, though. to be a honey dipper or a sanitary truck driver, if you're the guy that's going around and sucking the shit out of the porta johns, don't get me wrong, it would not be a fun job, but they're not like touching it or anything. They don't even have to see it. I'm certain that they're going to smell it. But like they got a hose that goes down inside there, you know.
The only thing that's the only gross thing about it. They have to pull that hose out and like store it on their truck, and they're like, you know, if you're grabbing that hose and you're putting it in, shit's flying around a little bit.
Dude, every time I'm on site when the honey dipper shows up, I head for my truck. I either head for my truck or I head for the trailer. Anywhere I could get away from that. I could not imagine my day being smelling that shit.
Here's a question. What happens to them? Where do they take that? I'm assuming they take it to a sewer treatment plant and blow it back out. That would be much worse to be there as it. So you guys might be onto something. That would be the bad part of that job if they had to stand there and blow it back out.
Oh, it's all bad. And the machine that they blow it into is called it's like the muffin machine or something like that.
The honeycomb.
What's that?
The honeycomb.
Yeah. Honeycomb. I mean, it's like literally called the muffin machine. And they pull out like chunks because back when I was working at Eagle, we did Dirtiest Jobs, like a ripoff for a work apparel store. And we did it online. And one of the ones that we did was we rode around with a sanitary truck that did septic tanks. And they take it to this machine. It's called the muffin machine. And basically it separates all the solids and shoots them out in like little muffin type things. And it's just all gross. It's all disgusting. It all stinks. You don't get used to it as the day goes on. No. It's all repulsive.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder though, in all seriousness, because there's certain things that people do for their jobs that you have to become numb to. You would think at some point those people have to just become totally numb to that. They get used to it. That's the worst part of that. I mean, what a tragic ending.
You know, you're not getting that smell off you. You're showing up on dates smelling like a fucking turd.
Well, they don't have dates, but yeah, you're right. All right, let's move into. Yeah, it would. Okay, so if there's any Porta-John companies hiring, please call Adam or Nick. They are both interested, and they're both disgusting creatures, clearly. So we're going to agree that the honey dipper and the sanitary truck driver is a match. We're pushing it through. Adam, your choice now. Let's go with your first one after honey dipper.
I think the next, I'm not saying it's a disgusting job by any means, but it would be the most frustrating and it would feel like it was going nowhere. And that would be as a telemarketer. I mean, if you were just making calls all day long, people telling you what a bad person you are, hanging up on you, yelling at you, and getting nowhere with your job all day long, I feel like that would be such a frustrating, like you would feel terrible about yourself type of existence. So I think telemarketer would be terrible. You're just being abused all day long. I don't see anyone having a career in that. Like that would kill them if they had a long-term career in that.
Right. It's like a college job or something just to get to a summer job. I feel like when I was younger, I was very rude to telemarketers and I would like tell them off or like make up stories or whatever. As I've gotten older, I say to them very bluntly things like, listen, I know you're just doing your job, trying to collect a paycheck. I can respect that, but you can do better than this. Like, this is not where you belong. I've said that to many telemarketers. And you know what's funny is they'll come around and start like talking to you like a real person. You try it sometime. It's fascinating because they are real people and you can talk them into that. They're like, yeah, I'm just trying to, it's just a summer job. It's the best I could find, blah, blah, blah. Talk them out of it. Next chance you get. Nick, what do you got?
All right. So all around the country in the dark areas of the city, you will find adult theaters. Some of these theaters just show triple X movies. Some of the theaters have the triple X peep shows. Either way, there's a guy that cleans up after the people that go in there. Now think about the shit that he's cleaning up. He's cleaning up jizz. He's cleaning up ash juice, fucking hooker blood. Pretty much, it's just a cocktail of all the worst stuff that you could find. And these people that go in there, they're not the cleanest of people anyway. So, I mean, they're disgusting humans that go in there, squirting their disgusting juices all over the place. And then somebody has to go in and mop it up. And that guy, well, he's the adult theater janitor. And that is a worse job than a telemarketer.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, okay, go ahead, Queen.
I was just gonna say real quick, like I've always kind of felt that, you know, I'm fairly well versed and fairly well traveled and have a understanding of most things and can have a conversation with people about just about anything. I'm not gonna lie, if this is a real thing that these adult movie theaters exist, this is news to me. I'm very, very serious about that. That shows you how sheltered my world has been.
Oh, yeah. You drive by them in any city, you see adult theater, triple X, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's... You know,
so like, how many seats are in these places? Is it like an actual movie theater and people are just in there jerking off on the backs of each other or what?
Some of them. That's where Pee Wee Herman got busted jerking the gherkin.
Which ones have you been to?
I haven't been to any. I'm not a fucking pervert.
You have no idea what they're actually
I watch my porn on my iPhone like a normal human being.
Okay, Quaid, this is my argument against this. This is why telemarketer is worse. And the fact is, these places have to be so skeevy. There's no one doing the cleanup. They're just doing it, and it's just building up. Everyone's shoes are sticky. There's no way there's actually a guy who comes in every day with his uniform on, his overalls, and he's squeegeeing down the things. But there are actually people who are telemarketers. I find it hard to believe people are actually in there cleaning up these theaters.
All right, to that I refer to Clerks. When they
That's a movie.
They spoke about the peep shows specifically, which I've never seen a peep show or whatever, but what it is, it's a live girl in front of you dancing, but there's a pane of glass in there. These dudes, they like to shoot the load on the glass. Somebody has to get that shit off of there.
What is that noise? Is that like your house, Nick?
No, it's my dog. She's playing with the ball.
Sorry. I was
Quit
like,
it.
Nick, your kids are running around like destroying your house.
I was trying to keep an eye on my microphone sound down there. I was like, okay, I don't think it's picking up. Well, I was wrong.
So anyways, Clerks is a movie for one. But let's say that's true. Let's say some dude is actually doing that onto the glass, and they actually have people have to clean it up. Some dude, because dudes are perverts, would love to have that job.
Oh, man.
Yeah, some creep out there would love to have that job, and you know it, Nick.
You would love to have that job,
right.
Adam.
You probably applied for it, Nick, you pervert.
But under the same guides, there's people out there that would love to be a telemarketer. They just love the idea of talking to people and think the challenge of selling shit to people is fun.
Yeah, but I don't think you are talking to people. You're just getting berated. Like, I go to my parents' house. I have a landline that I have the phone, like, off the hook. Like, I don't have a phone plugged into it because the phone just rings nonstop. My parents, they have, like, phones like old people, and they talk on them. Well, their phone rings, like, all day long, and they pick it up, and my dad he's to the point, because it's driving all these people crazy, they just like scream at these people. There's no like chit-chatting with them. It's not a pleasant conversation, and I don't think it's a pleasant conversation for anyone anymore, because I think it's gotten out of control. Now they're calling your cell phone.
Yeah.
You know how annoying that is? You know how annoying it is whenever you get a call and you're like, okay, I'll answer. This must be someone I know calling me from another number or something, or work. And it's some fucking asshole, and you just, I mean, it makes you want to explode. Like, what the fuck?
I had one of them call my cell phone the other day. It was probably a couple weeks ago or something, and he was telling me that I had just won a certain amount of money. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. $50,000 or $100,000.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I told him how excited I was, and I basically went on and on about how excited I was, and that I was so excited that I'm pretty sure I was going to shit in my pants. So I wondered if he had any recommendations for adult diapers and what size I would be. And it was a hilarious conversation. Hilarious conversation. He ended up hanging up on me, actually.
See, just being fucked with all day long for your whole life.
All right. Cool. Yeah, but you know what? I would rather be fucked with all day long than have to clean up man jizz and ass juice and hooker blood and probably a fucking tweaker that OD'd during the fucking porno movie. All of that would just be miserable.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't even use a squeegee. You use your tongue.
Yeah, I mean, some of that would be miserable. Nick. Okay, so here's the thing. First off, this was supposed to be work jobs, not dream jobs, Nick.
Oh shit.
These would both clearly be awful jobs. I'm going to tell you why I'm giving this round to Adam. It's not necessarily because the job itself is worse.
You want to be a jizz mopper.
It's also not for that reason. I think, in my opinion, the reason I'm giving it to Adam is because as a telemarketer, you're constantly reminded what a piece of shit you are. Every single phone call you make, maybe not every single one, but the majority of phone calls that you make, you're being told off.
Wait. No, I'm sorry. When you're fucking Windexing semen off of a pane glass, do you really think you're going, man, I'm really serving a purpose in this world?
No, but here's the difference. It's only you that you're talking to, yourself. You know it's a shitty job. You know that it's awful. You know it's a sad existence, but you don't have 35 other people throughout the day telling you that you're a waste of space. As a telemarketer, you know you serve no purpose in this world. The only difference is you also then have 30 or 40 or 100, I don't know how many people they call a day, also telling you what a complete pile of shit you are. That's the only difference that I see in my mind. For that reason, I give it to Adam.
You want to be a jizz mopper.
I mean, Adam kind of had a point there. I wonder how in depth or what detail they go into to actually clean those places.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do it like
I'm pretty sure there's not like a foreman in that place.
No.
There's not somebody overseeing it to make sure that it is, up to, FDA standards.
Some guy probably comes in with a bucket, filthy water, and just slaps that mop around in there and just sticks it back in the bucket and on to the next booth.
Dude, it's amazing to me that this is a real thing. I feel so stupid that I never knew that adult movie theaters actually exist. I always thought Pee Wee Herman was just watching like a somewhat scandalous movie and decided to jerk off. I didn't know it was actually at a porn theater.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess that stems from the time before the internet existed, where you could watch porn from the comfort of your own home.
I think a lot of those people who do that have to be into it. Like they have to be
on that.
Yeah, like they like to be in public doing it. They don't want to be arrested or like doing it at a park where they're like sex offender type shit. But they're like at this theater and there's other people around and
dudes
are staring at each other in the eyes watching.
I have porn. $1 million idea, and I'm going to say it here, but I'm also going to get a patent for it, so nobody steal it. You guys can come along for the business venture if you like.
Okay.
It's going to be a drive-in movie theater for this type of situation.
And they can just do it in their car.
Outdoor drive-in. People would love that shit. Let's do it.
That'd be good. The neighbors we'd have to have some privacy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can see it now.
Yeah,
Dudes are
brilliant.
so creepy, man. Dudes are so fucking creepy.
Yes, I agree. I know a couple of them that I'm talking to right now that are pretty creepy.
Couple boyfriends, huh?
Nick. No, you've had lots of boyfriends, gay ones.
So,
What is that quote from?
I have no idea. So you're saying Grinder's
Hot
not
Tub.
working out for you? Huh?
Hot Tub Time Machine. That's my favorite line in that movie. I've had lots of hot girlfriends. No, you've had lots of boyfriends, gay ones. All right, Nick, what do you got to bring to the table next?
All right. So imagine this. You're a bank teller. You're going there, you're just dealing with mundane shit all day long. It's fucking boring. You're just dealing with money that you don't get to spend. You're seeing all these people that are doing better than you coming through, making these massive deposits, and you just have to smile at them and say thank you and come again. Fuck that. Bank teller. It'd be a terrible job.
Adam,
Okay.
what do you got?
Okay. I'll go with. I'll try to keep it like not all of them be disgusting because most of mine are. I mean, when I look at them, they kind of have some gross ones. But I'm gonna say this is kind of a surprise. But I'm gonna go with dentist. And I mean, in reality, being a doctor would be pretty gross too. And I know they get paid handsomely for this, but you're dealing with all these people and their filthy mouths, and they're like, and they come to you just whenever they're all fucked up. They're like, you have to drill them out, and you know that smell. You're dealing with that stink. Smells bother me, I guess, but you're drilling out people's cavities, and you got blood and slobber all over you all day long. I mean, I guess people's bodily fluids, like whenever they're just random strangers, that's pretty disgusting. You know that shit.
Unless you're mopping up their jizz in a fucking adult theater.
Nah, that's not that bad. This guy's got his hands in there. It's spraying all over his face and all over his arms. And he's got to smell your stank breath all day long. Not yours in particular, but just people in general. Because they probably have bad hygiene. A lot of them. And they're sitting there doing it. And then, I mean, the people are whining and crying the whole time because you're hurting them. So, I mean, it's like you're trying to be gentle, but you're like, want to get it over with. So you're like, it's like a weird, happy medium between speed and killing somebody and dealing with
Just like intercourse, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a dentist would be pretty bad. I think a doctor would be pretty bad too. I'm not going to argue for a doctor because it's not on my list, but just anything in the medical field where you're dealing with people's disgusting shit, hands-on like that too. It's like right in your face. I think that'd be pretty gross.
Okay, Nick, why is a dentist not a disgusting job?
No, a dentist is a disgusting job. But look, a dentist doesn't have to worry about a gang of guys busting through the door, shotguns ablazing, wearing rubber masks of ex-presidents, shooting up the place, and stealing all the money. A bank teller does. You know, they ruined some very good presidents for a lot of good people. Like a lot of people were fans of Reagan, but Reagan was the one that was leading the gang.
I can relate to this, Nick. I do. I see your point now. Because I was thinking, a bank teller, it's almost like a lot of other office jobs. You get to hang out with people you work with. You're chit-chatting all day. You're meeting new people. But then, boom, here comes a guy who should be protecting you. Like, let's just say he's a FBI agent who's forced into robbing the bank. I mean, that guy should be protecting you, but he's not.
And he had enough balls.
Really wronged.
I would. What are my tax dollars going towards if an FBI agent is robbing my bank?
This is unbelievable. You guys are idiots.
I didn't know where you were getting with bank teller because I was thinking that's not really that bad of a job, like at all. But now I get it. I get what you're doing.
For everybody listening to this that is clueless, as you should be, you should have no idea what they're talking about. This is another Point Break reference.
It is.
This is so stupid, so dumb.
You know,
So
we don't
dumb.
even plan this, but it
No, I
works
was
out
actually-
so well.
I was actually listening to this as like a serious debate for a minute. I was like, you were making some good, valid points with the bank teller argument, Nick. Now it turns out you're just an idiot.
I was actually really
I would
confused
say
by it.
Junior.
I'm thinking, man, bank teller, that's not that bad of a job. Every time I talk to the ladies at the bank, they're so nice to me. And I'm thinking, I get what you're doing now. As soon as you
Can
said,
imagine being that nice of a human being yet still getting robbed by a couple ex-presidents of the United States?
I know. And like, then they like essentially sexually harass them by pulling their pants down and mooning them.
Yeah.
It's disgusting,
Hashtag
man.
me too.
Exactly.
Give me the
I'm with
Okay.
her.
So I'm breathing deep, so I try to keep my composure here. Because it pisses me off that you would make a Point Break reference on a topic that has nothing to do with Point Break. But anyhow, luckily for your dumb ass, my mind was made up prior to that reference. Here's why I'm giving round 2 to Nick and the bank teller. I do think it would be an awful job. And I think it's one of those jobs where you don't see people as career bank tellers. I think that's a very rare thing that, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I've been a bank teller for 30 years. It doesn't exist for the most part. The reason that I think that a dentist would not be quite as bad, Adam, all the things that you described would be absolutely horrifying and disgusting about being a dentist. However, with that being said, you are giving people a better quality of life as a dentist. That's not something you can say about a bank teller. So for that single reason, the fact that you are giving people as a dentist a better life or a potential better life, for that reason alone, round 2 goes to Nick and a bank teller and Bodie.
That's fun.
That hurts me. It hurts me to give you that win. You understand that. You understand how difficult that is for me to say that I give you the victory in round 2 after you ended on a Point Break reference. You didn't even end. I just basically was like, shut up. We need to get over this because I was done listening.
I think it was a good decision.
No, it was you're an idiot. Adam, round 3. What do you got to bring to the table first?
Okay. Still tough decision for me what to go with. But I'm going to go with a job that I would hate to have. And that would be a prison guard. Okay, so first off, you're dealing with like some of the most violent people in society. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is you're dealing with them like in their little cages. And when you walk by, these guys will shit in like a bucket and piss in it for like weeks on end. And then when you walk by, they'll throw it right in your damn face. And this happens quite often in prison because I watch a lot of prison shows, Locked Up. And it's disturbing, really, what those guards have to put up with. And they're not criminals. You know, they don't. I feel like you would come out of there, you'd have like post-traumatic stress syndrome. I mean, just from dealing with all the like terrible people hurting each other, and then they're throwing shit all over you too. So I think being a prison guard would be
I think it's definitely one of those jobs where I kind of talked about earlier about, you know, becoming numb to certain things. It'd be one of those jobs that you would have to be able to become numb to it, or else it would make you go crazy, I would think. It'd be very difficult to shut it off, you know, and just go home and have a normal life at home. Once you get out of that.
Yeah, I can't wait till tomorrow when I get to go to work and you know,
do the
have
same
some guy
thing
jerking off, and yeah, then he's shooting his, you know, semen all over me.
Right, Nick, what do you got?
As he shits on me.
All right, so everybody loves porn, but nobody appreciates the amount of work that goes into it. There's actually a job in the porn industry in which, when in between takes, the guy has to keep his rod. And to keep his rod, he needs a fluffer there stroking that dong. That would be a horrible job. Because, like, you got to think about it. You couldn't just, like, you know, like be scrolling through your phone, like checking scores and shit and like trying to fluff them up. Like you kind of got to be into it to get him into it as well, so he doesn't lose that rod. And that would be your job in the porno industry, would be to be just giving out hand jobs for like $10 an hour.
Okay. So question real quick. Sorry, Adam.
Okay.
Question for you, Nick, real quick. Is a fluffer strictly hand jobs, or is there some fellatio involved?
I guess whatever keeps the guy's rod hard, I guess.
I can't imagine it would be a hand job that would keep them hard. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my
I
problem.
I wouldn't do either.
Yeah, well, you're a guy. So this is my problem with this whole thing. So, okay, yeah, you're not a real pleasant looking girl. You're not good enough to get on screen, but you're a nymphomaniac and you want to be involved with these guys that you watch on the internet. You're like so into it. So you go and you can't get a job as the starring actress, but yeah, you can go and give these dudes BJs all day. I mean, there's a lot of girls who would love that job. I'm not saying for you. You might like it, but guys like me and Quaid aren't gonna enjoy that.
Here's the thing. All right. So you're a guy who's really into like some scatological freaking fetishes. So you're like, how do I get shit and piss thrown in my face? So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up and be a prison guard. I'm gonna walk down the halls. I'm gonna put my chest out, and I'm gonna wait for that bucket of piss to hit me in the mouth, and it's gonna be instant
orgasm
mode.
I think that is way more rare than some chick who wants to do porn star.
If we're gonna argue in the extreme,
I'm just saying. I think, but also that porn star dude, he might stab that girl with his penis, but he's not gonna stab her with his shank. And when you're a prison guard, there's a good chance you're gonna get stabbed with a shank too.
So I want to clear something up before we get too far away from this. Nick.
Yeah.
You're saying that you think that there are prison guards who get off on having the piss buckets thrown in their faces.
I'm sure there's at least one.
I hope you're wrong. I don't think they
cleared the background.
All right, being a prison guard be kind of sweet. Like, you could make some buku bucks on the side, being a dirty guy, you know, letting shit happen. B, say you have a fight with the wife, and it sucks, and you're angry, and you go to work. Well, you could just take it out on a piece of shit of society. Just beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, but you know what's wrong with
he had a shank. You just keep a shank in your pocket. You beat the fuck out of him. Throw the shank down there. He gets 5.
I'm not sure it actually works that way.
No. Okay, this is the problem with that scenario, Nick.
I've seen Sleepers. You can have fun with the prisoners.
Yeah, that was a movie too. Your life is based off your facts in life are based off movies.
Well, they're based off facts.
No, you're living in a fantasy world.
So, okay, so
if
you're a prison guard and you do any of the things that you just said, if you're sneaking drugs in, trying to make extra money, eventually you're going to get busted. And guess where you're going to end up? In the worst possible place a prison guard could be put, prison.
Sure.
Because everyone there wants to kill you already. And now you're just another prisoner. They probably will. And they'll probably rape you with a broomstick first.
A, there's people that are into that. B, at least you're not giving out hand jobs and blow jobs as like the person off camera that's like too ugly that can't even get in some shitty porno. They just got to blow the dude on the side. And
yeah,
like,
but they're into it.
But they're not. They're like, oh yeah.
Why would you take a job as a fluffer if you're not into it?
Yeah. Okay. So
because you got to pay the bills.
So
because hooking on the street's illegal, but sucking that dude's pecker right there is not.
Okay. So Nick, you lose this round.
Why? Because you want to suck some dick. That's what it is. You heard this job description. You're like, dude, I'm in.
Now listen.
I know how I'm going to make my California dreams come true. I'm going out West Coast. I'm going to do some fluffing.
Listen.
What?
So here was my initial thought. My initial thought was, obviously, a fluffer would be a terrible job for me personally. I can't say the same for both of you, but for me personally, it'd be a terrible job. I have no interest in it. However, it would be a very highly desirable job for a lot of people out there.
I think a lot might be a bit of a gross estimation.
I don't know, man.
I think it's probably more than you would assume. It's a job that people would get off on, and also knowing that there are some part of that video becoming made and successful, they would get off on that. They're certainly not hiring old nasty ugly trolls to be fluffers. These girls also have to have some type of standard when it comes to what they look like, because they have to be physically attractive enough that the man is going to be attracted to them, obviously. So I think that they're, I'm not saying it's a super highly desirable job, but I think it's a job that a lot of people, a lot of females, maybe some males, I don't know, but a lot of females would seek that job opportunity out. I'm assuming that the next logical move from fluffer, the next promotion up, would be to be somewhere on screen. To be a prison guard would be way worse, because I don't think that it's a super highly desirable job. I think it's a job that a lot of people use as a stepping stone, and a job that a lot of people just settle for because they can't become a police officer, or they can't become something more meaningful, so it just becomes a paycheck. Without a doubt, now this is going to sound somewhat homosexual when I say this, but without a doubt, I think it would be much worse to be a prison guard than it would be to be a fluffer. That's difficult to say out loud. That's very difficult to say out loud. But I'm trying very, very hard. I'm trying to see it from somebody else's perspective. And I know that, like if I were to put myself in, like, for instance, Adam or Nick's shoes, I know that being a fluffer wouldn't be all that bad. So Adam wins round 3 with prison guard. Nick, you get to bring up the next one. I gotta take a leak. Can you guys talk about something meaningful
Pirates
for 30 seconds? Talk about the Pirates for 30 seconds. So they're not gonna make the playoffs. You can talk about the Le'Veon Bell holdout.
Yeah, we could cry about that one for sure.
This dude has a bladder like an infant.
Yeah, he is. Like, we'll just talk about Kuwait. That's what we'll do.
You know what? He's running to the bathroom to apply for a fluffer job. He didn't even know that existed.
He was so excited to hear that. He's probably going to jerk off right now. How excited. He had a hard time hiding his boner when he stood up.
No kidding. Damn near like knocked his lens in.
He's like, wait, so I can work at a place where I can clean up semen all day.
Yeah.
And I can work blowing dudes all day? Are you kidding
Seriously,
me? Like, he's starting a big dream job.
I thought those two were ringers.
Those are pretty good ones.
He's like, I'm going to open an adult theater.
Not hire anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, not hire anyone. Clean it and then suck dudes off on the side.
He's gonna start a whorehouse and run it by hand until he gets enough money to hire some people. If you get it, he's gonna be jerking dudes off.
Yeah.
Punchline of the joke.
He'll call it the ski shop.
Yeah, the ski shop. He'll be waxing poles all day long. It'll be funny when he comes back. We'll just start talking about the Pirates, but yeah, yeah. So those Buccos, I don't know, and then Le'Veon Bell, yeah, blah blah blah. Damn Le'Veon Bell.
That guy's crazy.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that you guys didn't talk about Le'Veon Bell at all, and you probably made homosexual jokes about me being a fluffer or something to that extent while I was gone.
Nah, we would never do that. We take this show very seriously.
And
Yeah.
football's their life.
Ha 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 ha. Okay, well, anyhow, I'm not going to listen to the whole show, but I'm at least going to have to go back and listen to that part of the show just to see how close I was to guessing what you guys talked about.
Don't waste your time. You're dead on.
You pretty much presented a transcript.
Did you have your earbuds in or something when you went to the bathroom?
No, I just know you guys are idiots.
Oh, shit.
So, Nick,
Yeah.
you get to bring up the next one. What do you think?
All right. Let's see. I am going to go with a proctologist. All right. To kind of use Adam's dentist argument against him, there's a lot of gross things in the human body. One of the things in particular is the asshole. When you're a proctologist, you have people coming with diseased assholes and spreading their cheeks and sticking that hole in your face. And you are to look at it, examine it, and see what's wrong with it and fix it. Your entire life is assholes, gross assholes, nasty assholes, diseased assholes, and just assholes.
It would be very difficult to become numb to that and not think about it at home, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about this. Think about when you're in the store and you see a chick with a pretty nice ass.
Nice turd cutter on there.
Nice turd cutter.
I hate that word.
And you look at it and you're like, that's a nice ass. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, when you're a proctologist, like you look and you're like, oh, another fucking ass. I can't take any more fucking asses. They're fucking gross.
I think that I maybe got a little bit of an insight into that world on Friday when I had my colonoscopy. Let me tell you a little story. So it was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I was, I'm assuming I was the first patient of the day. And they wheeled me in on this, hospital bed into the operating room. And they wheeled me in there. And there's like 6 or 8 other, whatever they are, I don't know, nurses, doctors, whoever they are. They all look the same.
Couple dudes who just paid to be there, probably.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. And I said to them as I casually looked around the room, I said, hey, glad everybody could make it this morning. And nobody laughed at all. Nobody smirked. Nobody said anything. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, these guys are terrible people. They, haven't encountered anybody with a personality in quite some time. So fast forward about 10 minutes or 15 minutes later, and they are in the process of sticking me like a pincushion trying to get an IV to work. And my veins are collapsing. They can't get it. And my arms still right now are all black and blue. Anyhow, long story short, what's that?
The AIDS really leaving some complications.
Anyhow, I plead the fifth. Anyhow, the doctor comes over because they kept telling me, they kept like in a strange way, like complimenting me, saying, well, you have really nice looking veins. And which, whatever that means, it's a very weird thing to say.
I thought they were going to say you have a really nice looking asshole.
Yeah. Well, that was later. They didn't get to that part yet. So the doctor comes over.
Nice turd cutter.
He puts his arms up and his veins are like poking out like mine were. And he goes, yeah, those are kind of a lot like mine. Look, they tell me I have nice veins too. And so I said, the first thing that came to mind, I said, yeah, you're right. Looks good to me. Stick that thing in his arm. Nobody laughed. Not even the doctor, nobody. They didn't smile. They didn't change their expression at all. So, Nick, you're on to something. It's got to be a pretty terrible existence because they're just like going through the motions, just completely numb-faced.
Yeah.
Adam, what do you got?
Yeah.
You got any colonoscopy stories for us?
No, I've never had one, fortunately. But if I were to pick another job to go up against it, I know it's one of Quaid's favorites, so it's gonna be tough to beat. I'd have to go with. Okay, I'll go with this job because I've done it and it's miserable.
One of my favorites. What do you? One of my proctologist. One of my favorites.
I'm not saying favorites, but I can see you're leaning. You can see where Nick's coming from with it.
Well, I have a personal connection to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
not that you love a proctologist.
Favorite is not the right word to use. Let's just clear that up right now.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So, in the summers and during college, we would do a lot of roofing. And to me, this is one of the worst jobs. And it's not because, like, I guess if you were doing new roofing, it's still pretty miserable. But what we were doing a lot was tearing off and, doing everything, putting the tar paper down, re-shingling everything. So all day long, you're bent over and you're tearing things out and you're trying, the nails and everything's real rough. And it is super hard on your back. It's hot as fuck. I mean, you're on the hottest, you're basically on the hottest thing on a house, which is the roof. And the sun's beating down on you and you're ripping this shit apart. And then you're bent over, you're high off the ground. You're dealing with electric lines coming into the house. It's just a job that's really miserable. And I don't think I've talked to a lot of roofers, like shingle roofers. And a lot of them say they get kind of pigeonholed into that roofing world. So they end up doing it for the vast majority of their career. And the ones I've talked to seem pretty miserable about that. I guess they felt like, oh, you're a roofer. That's what you do. Like whenever they go for another job, you're not like this kind of carpenter. You're not this. You're just a roofer. So they're kind of I don't want to say looked down upon, but I think they feel like they're looked at as that's all they can do. So then they're stuck doing a job that's pretty damn miserable, I guess is my point.
Yeah, so. I think Adam, to go along with what you're saying, that being pigeonholed into that job, I think a lot of that comes along with finances and pay also. Yeah. You can make good money as a roofer. I think that's part of it too, where people are like, well, what else are they going to go do to make that much money? If you're a good roofer, there's a lot of money to be made there.
Okay, the only problem with the money issue, when you look at other construction, if you're like a carpenter or anything on a job, I think the roofer is one of the lower paid ones. I'm not talking about metal sheeters. I'm not talking about iron workers, like sheet work, metal workers. I'm talking about guys who are nailing shingles. Those guys, because they get underbid and they keep getting underbid, they put in these big housing developments and there's a million roofs to be put on. And they keep getting underbid by other people. So whenever the company is getting lowering their bids, what are they doing? Well, they can't cut the cost of material. They just cut the wages to these guys who are already stuck being roofers, is basically in their mind. So right. I think it's actually rough because they don't really make as much as you would think. They're not I don't think that they're looked at as a highly skilled labor on a construction site. That's just my opinion because I've done it. And it's kind of shitty.
No,
right, I think you're probably right. I was thinking about it differently, but those are some valid points.
That year we did it, though. We had a blast. That was a fun year. The worst part about the roofing was when we opened that window and that woman left that brown piss in the toilet.
Yeah, which you guys didn't pay any attention to. Foreman on the job over here gave you orders and no one listened.
No, we listened. We both peeked our head through and we're like, nah.
So we had to plug an air compressor into a bathroom, through a window. And I was humping shit up a ladder. And these guys are on the roof. And I said, hey, do me a favor while I'm basically doing all this work. All you got to do is plug this cord into the bathroom. And I don't know, 10 minutes later, I'm getting all this shit up on the roof. I get up there and the air compressor is still not plugged in. I'm like, what the fuck? I asked you to do one thing. Go over, and they both are just giggling over. They're like idiots. I go to get in, and there's literally your head's right above the toilet. I felt like the Honey Dipper. It was just I got a taste of that life too all at one time. Yeah, it was disgustingly brown. It looked like someone took a turd and then they pissed all over it like hard and like broke it up into pieces for like a week, and it was just that's the color it was, but it wasn't poop. It was just I don't know why we're talking about this. This
Then
is
she
like
came out and offered us ice. She came out and offered us iced tea a little later on in the day that was the same color.
Oh, that's an old people thing. When I was a
wasn't that old. She
growing
was
up.
just a raging alcoholic.
Oh, okay. Well,
Your
never mind
kidneys
that.
are shutting down, probably.
I was going to say that when I was a little kid growing up, my grandmother owned a nursing home, and all the toilets looked like that all the time.
Ugh.
Dude, just think of that. That woman that left that piss, when her asshole gets inflamed, she has to go to a proctologist. And she has to spread her cheeks, and a guy has to get his face up in there, examine that asshole.
I might be more concerned with the urologist. But he or the gynecologist for it might be more of a scary thing.
I almost put
Now you're splitting hairs.
gynecologist on there, but yeah. But you know, I'm sure her asshole's not in the best of shape.
So this guy, he's sitting in his office getting paid, he's making good money as a proctologist. He's in air conditioning. He's got nurses doing all of his paperwork. He goes in with some robot thing. He sticks it in like a plumber. He's just snaking it down there. No big deal. It's not like the guy who's the honey dipper. When he pulls that hose out, it's not flopping around and poop flying everywhere. He just pulls out. It's clean, healthy environment. But, I'm out there on a roof somewhere. It's 100 degrees. And on the roof, it's probably 140 degrees. And I'm carrying 60-pound shingles up some wobbly-ass ladder that my coworkers probably aren't holding for me, It's a dangerous job, and it's miserable. It's hard on your back.
You're getting a good workout in. The proctologist has to spend his days looking at dirty assholes, and then he has to go spend an hour of his free time at the gym. It's terrible.
Why is it?
My decision has been made. Let me try to explain this. Put it into words for you. The one thing that you could hope for as a proctologist is that you could hope that you would get to a point in your career where you would become numb to the whole job in general. As a roofer, this is one thing that would make it worse. As a roofer, one thing that you could never become numb to, and that is the heat of the sun. Anybody that has spent any amount of time outside for work-related purposes. I'm not talking about sitting on the beach drinking a cold beverage. For work-related purposes, the sun is absolutely brutal. However, I think that as a roofer, and in your explanation of that, Adam, I don't think that a roofer in your description is, I guess I'll say, priced into that and can't get out of it. He's probably not making a ton of money. He can probably replace that income with just about anything. For that reason, I think it would be a much shittier existence to be an asshole doctor, because you are priced into that, and you are stuck in a situation where you are making such a ridiculous amount of money that you'd be stupid to quit that job. You can't afford to quit it, so you just then are stuck dealing with raunchy assholes for the rest of your life. For those reasons, Nick and the asshole doctor wins round 4.
Yeah. I'm just glad I got him on the week he got a colonoscopy, because that probably helped my case a little.
Because he could visualize it a little bit better.
I can relate. I'm still sitting funny. So you got me while I was still on the hook a little bit. A roofer would be a terrible job. I really do mean that. What I said in my explanation, I think the deciding factor for me was the fact that a roofer could probably replace his income very easily. Proctologist, not so much. You're stuck with that lifestyle.
Well, the guys I had done some work with, they weren't exactly
asshole work.
No, roofing work. They weren't exactly. I'm not talking about Nick and our buddy Mike who helped us. I'm talking about the other guys I've done stuff with. They weren't exactly what you would call upstanding citizens, and I think they felt like they didn't really have much opportunity in life because maybe a criminal past or some other type of thing where they didn't like those guys. I think really felt like they were pigeonholed in that because they look whenever they were trying to get a job, they're like, oh, you're a you don't have you have kind of a shady background and you did roofing, so you're a roofer. That's what you are. But I'm not gonna defend them because all dead.
You're probably right.
You probably fell off a roof by now.
Did you say they're dead?
Oh no, I'm just assuming.
You're assuming. You're assuming slash hoping.
I know one of them is.
One of them is dead?
Yeah. Is actually dead.
Jeez, dude.
I mean, I wasn't buddies with him. I just worked with him.
So you wanted him to die?
No, I had no problem with the guy at all. He tried to tell me one time that Ray Lewis knocked him out at a bar.
Ray Lewis knocked him out.
Yeah, that was the only story I really remember. The guy I think he was a big bullshitter.
This guy was a party animal.
He was at a bar somewhere. He said he was, and this guy, he looked like Machine Gun Kelly kind of, but not like with any rapping skills.
So very much like Machine Gun Kelly.
Well, that's arguable. Like I think Nick's on Machine Gun Kelly's side, but
of course he is. He's always into the skinny little white guys.
Well, it's two skinny white guys. I love my twinks. So yeah, but yeah, he's basically said he was hitting on or Ray Lewis hit on his girlfriend. That's what it was, and then he tried to stand up for his woman. Ray Lewis knocked him the fuck out. This was pretty briefly after Ray Lewis's murder rap. He got, he's escaped that one. So it was like, this is like mid 2000s probably.
I hope it's a true story.
I know it's a cool story. It's probably bullshit because right. What people are.
Yeah, I would tell it if I were you, and I would, maybe just.
I have to tell it. He's not around to tell it anymore.
Yeah, you have to tell it as Ray Lewis hit on your girlfriend. I mean, that's the way it has to be told from now on.
No way. I would never admit to getting beat up by Ray Lewis.
Well, yeah, I guess. Valid point. You are one tough mother effer. Okay. Fifth and final rap. I know. I was being sarcastic. I just want to make that known to everybody. You are a piece of shit. So round 5 is where we're at. I want to recap real quick. Round 1, Adam won with telemarketer. Round 2, Nick won with bank teller. Round 3, Adam takes with prison guard. Prison guard who gets off on having piss dumped on their face, according to Nick. And shit. Round 4, another shitty job, proctologist. That goes to Nick. So we are at 2-2. The deciding round. Adam, you have a big choice here. What's it gonna be?
Oh man, it's tough. So I have a handful left. They're all pretty rough, but I'm going to go with essentially a slaughterhouse worker. I watched some documentaries about slaughterhouses, and I love my red meat just like the other people, but when you see what they actually do and like how, and I've been to places, I've actually been to smaller ones, and the smell, like you would think it would be like, because they're cutting up meat, but there is an area where they actually kill the animal and then they gut it out, and they just have like these dumpsters of guts, and like that's out in the hot sun, or it's hot in that area. It's not like in their air conditioned area because they're not in with where they're processing the meat, and it just smells terrible. Like it's rotting guts basically. And then you also have to go into work every day and you're just straight up killing animals. I don't know. I'm not saying, I know it's part of like the reason why we have cows, or the reason why you have pigs. You're raising them to produce meat or whatever, but to be the guy who actually has to do the actual killing and the butchering, and it'd be pretty rough, I think, on a day-to-day basis. That'd be a tough job.
Yeah, I've again, kind of a somewhat of a personal story or connection to this. I've always said and thought that to do that job for a living, you have to be either some type of psychopath, or you have to be able to become completely 100% numb to what you're actually doing and not think about it at all. My uncle owns a, call it a slaughterhouse. Around here we call it a butcher shop. It's on a small scale. and he has a very unique personality, and some would maybe call him a psychopath. And I think that he actually enjoys what he's doing. And I, as a small child, one time stumbled upon it, and it's a visual that I will never get out of my head. Him slaughtering a pig, and it was horrifying, absolutely horrifying. Like, it was like, I'm not going to go into detail because it probably shouldn't be discussed, quite honestly. But it was absolutely horrifying. Like, it messed me up.
Yeah, it's not so much the cutting up of the meat or whatever, the processing of it. It's more of the front end on it. You know, when you're actually killing the animal and you're.
And that's what I saw. That's what scarred me, was the actual killing of the animal. Yeah. Okay, so Nick, this is a big decision for you because this is going to be the deciding round. What do you have? Unfortunately, Fluffer's already off the list.
Yeah, and obviously you want to be one. But what I'm going to say is TSA agents. There's not a larger group of worthless, no good pieces of shit than the TSA.
Whoa. Patriot Act, bro. Patriot Act.
As human beings. So that means that's who you're going to be working with, are these shitty, fucking vile human beings. And they serve no purpose. They fucking will, strip search fucking grandma while letting other people through. Just air quote that. With no problem. They've done studies to where that like 95% of the shit that people try to get through TSA can get through. We're talking like guns, knives, bombs. Just gets through because they're fucking worthless. They are as hated as telemarketers. This is how hated they are. We watched on national TV terrorists slam 3 planes in the buildings and one into a field. And people would still rather the TSA not be there. That's how shitty they are.
That's a interesting perspective. I'm still gathering my thoughts on it. Adam, go ahead.
I would say, I see what you're saying. When you get in line security at airports, it's very frustrating because there's a lot of times you're in a long line, and then you feel like you're going through all this stuff for no real reason at all. Like, it's not really proving anything. Like, they're just kind of slowing you down. But I will say this, and I know you said a lot of things get through, but just having them there makes someone who's thinking about doing something in the airport or a terroristic act, it hasn't happened since because they've ramped up these people. So I know they're annoying. They slow everything down. And maybe if someone really did try to get something through, maybe they could, but they don't. They literally, since the underwear bomber, no one gets into planes and does terroristic stuff. So I would say, yeah, it sucks what they do because they slow your travels down, but they're kind of protecting you. It's not like they go home at night and they say, man, I'm protecting the world from terrorists.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody goes home and says that because they go home and go, man, people hate my fucking guts.
You're right. They're like, oh, dude, I got to give some dude an over the pants hand job today.
They're like, I took this job saying I'm going to protect people against terrorism. Meanwhile, a study just came out saying that they tried to get shit through TSA and 98.5% of the shit that they sent through TSA got through. So we're not doing anything.
Maybe. But their presence is deterring people from doing anything because nothing's happened.
So
I think it's being a slaughterhouse and that killing animals all damn day would be way worse than being TSA.
People love that though. There are people out there that fucking love that.
They're called serial killers. And Quaid's uncle.
Whatever. Maybe that's maybe that job actually offers them an outlet so they don't become serial killers. They get their aggressions out, and we get tasty bacon. Everybody wins. People stay alive. We get good food, and they get their sick, twisted fantasies played out on a daily basis.
So my decision's not made up yet. I'm just gonna voice some of my thoughts right now and kind of work through this, and then I'm gonna ask for you guys to give me a little bit more. Something that I can't get out of my head is the fact how grateful I am that both of these positions and jobs exist. As a meat eater, I'm grateful that there is somebody who does slaughter the beef and the pork and the whatever. It gives me an opportunity to eat it, so I don't have to be the one slaughtering it. In the old days, you slaughtered your own animals. It can be done. I butchered my own cow this past winter because she died giving birth. It was not pleasant, but it was a necessary thing. You do have a certain amount of numbness that you just, it's a job that has to be done so you can put food in your freezer. However, I would not want to do it for all of my meals. Therefore, I'm very grateful for people that are able to work in a butcher shop. For obvious reasons, I'm very grateful for TSA agents. The TSA became into existence in November of 2001, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, I think everybody is aware of how many terrorist attacks there have been. To say that they are the sole reason, I think, would be silly, but it also would be silly to say that they don't have something to do, and probably quite a bit to do, with our safety in terms of flight.
Oh, yeah.
So
that man girl with the green hair and the fucking bull ring nose ring that's 500 fucking pounds and drives a fucking scooter over to the metal detector. Yeah, she's saving the fucking world, all right.
So I'm going to ask for you to each give me a little bit more, and this is what I'm going to ask from you. I'm not going to ask you to talk about your own topic. I'm going to ask you to put yourself in the other position, and why would it be so good? So, for instance, Adam, I'm going to ask you first. Why would being a TSA agent be a good job? Convince me that being a TSA agent isn't a bad job at all.
Okay, this is a great job. First off, you're working for the government. You get great pension, great benefits. But that's not even the best part of it. The best part of it is you get to meet so many people. And you could be courteous and you could explain to people that this is just the process. We're saving your lives. We're protecting you. And then every once in a while, you get one of these sneaky little terrorists come sneaking through, and you catch him. And there you are, the hero. Everyone is like, wow, look at Nick. He is the hero. TSA saved the day. And I mean, when else are you going to have people? And it's not just the agents on the front lines. It's the people who are working the x-ray booths. And they're processing all those people through there, and they're making sure there's no weapons on them or drugs. You got to keep drugs out of this country, guys. So the agent, you're pretty much a hero. Boom.
Okay. So Nick, my same question to you. Please tell me, why would it be such a good job to work and or own or operate a slaughterhouse?
Well, hey, everybody wants to know the butcher. Everybody wants to know the guy that's going to get them the good cut of meat. They appreciate that. They love what you do. They are grateful off the get-go. You don't have to be the 1 in a billion guy that busts the terrorist to get appreciation. They appreciate you right off the get-go because you have the meat. So you're a pillar in the community. People love you.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop you. Let me stop you. Mine isn't so much the butcher. It's the slaughterhouse worker. Slaughterhouse workers are doing a lot of the dirty work. The butcher's getting a side of beef, and he's just cutting it up into certain steaks. That's a totally different job in my mind. I don't know about you, Quay, but the slaughterhouse worker is the guy who's doing all the...
Okay, so you're right. So time out. Just to clarify, you're right, Adam. I'm saying butcher shop because around here where I live, there's a lot of butcher shops, and it's like a one man.
Yeah, same with
shop.
here, like
They
little
do
places.
all of it.
Yeah,
You're saying, to clarify, slaughterhouse worker that's doing the killing and not getting any of the glory.
yeah, they're not customer facing at all. They're just doing the work.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Nick, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, Nick, but mine's slaughterhouse.
Those are two different things. I agree with that. Nick, go ahead.
Oh, hey, it's a job not a lot of people are going to do, so you're probably going to make a decent amount of money. B, you get to be in control of how this animal gets killed, so you could make sure you do it in a humane fashion, so you know that the food that goes out to the public is going to be humanely killed. Another good reason why you would want to work in a slaughterhouse is the fact that, yeah, you might not be the butcher, but you probably got the inside track on some good meats, some good cuts. And also, hey, maybe you just like to kill things. And you could go play, at work. If you love what you do, it's not work.
Well, Nick, you made a valid point earlier too, that maybe that's a job that keeps people from killing people. Maybe that gets it out of their system, which is a twisted thought, makes sense that you came up with it.
Yeah, it's kind of that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good job.
Kind of like screaming into a pillow.
Yeah.
You'd rather paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so neither one of these jobs would be on my radar of jobs that I would have any desire to do. I shared some of my personal story on the slaughterhouse position. I would have no desire for anything like that. A TSA agent would be somewhat of a thankless job also. You're surrounded by a lot of negativity, a lot of the same old boring days, I would assume, until you maybe find something, like a 16-ounce shampoo bottle, for instance, that really spices your afternoon up. And you're like, you cannot take that on the airplane. I need to confiscate that. Spread it.
Thanks a lot, Captain America.
Right. However, there is one of these jobs that does have some type of positive interaction throughout your day, potentially could have some positive interaction. And there's one of these jobs that, at least in my mind and the way I'm perceiving it, doesn't have a potential for any positive interaction for me if I put myself in those shoes. I could find some positives in screening people and talking to people and greeting people.
Because Adam said something about giving a dude a hand job through his pants. That's when he won the argument. Give him the point.
I didn't see that one coming, Nick.
I personally could not see or find any positives in being a slaughterhouse worker. So for those reasons, and also the fact that, one of these jobs includes hand jobs through the pants and one does not, I have to give round 5 to Adam. Slaughterhouse worker, in my opinion, would be worse than being a TSA agent.
I agree.
I don't.
Well, I tell you what, all these jobs that we talked about, except the bank teller to me, I don't think that's really that bad of a job unless you're getting robbed. But you know what? We have a local bank, and it used to get robbed a lot. It doesn't really, not a lot, but like occasionally, like once a year.
Check the surfers.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a robbery like once a year. There really isn't anymore. I think security seems to get better. These people seem to always get caught, so I don't think they really risk robbing. But the rest of these jobs do kind of suck. At least there's aspects of the jobs that make them lousy. You're dealing with smells, or like smells to me, like that's why a lot of stuff with poop or human smells just gross me out, because I I just can't deal with smells.
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
So,
I think that in my opinion, one of the worst, or maybe my personal worst on either one of these lists would maybe be a DMV clerk. That's way up there. To me personally, I think that would be the biggest waste of an existence that you could ever have.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I just have much more disdain for the TSA.
Nick's had some recent issues with TSA.
Had some anal cavity issues.
Hate them. They have not caught a single terrorist since they've come into existence.
Whoa! That's
they are
your
the
opinion.
biggest. No, they haven't, and they're the biggest collection of fucking no good pieces of shit. They grab these people from the land of misfit toys. They put them in a blue fucking uniform.
You're never gonna get Pre-Check Global with this attitude.
So there's obviously a story or something that I have not been told. Do you want to talk about it now, or should we not?
Have a couple kids and take them through fucking security at an airport, and you will understand they are the most worthless pieces of shit on the fucking planet.
So they patted his baby down. They put it up against the wall, and they patted it down.
Just the
I know.
Stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
It is frustrating.
Okay, let me tell you a story about how stupid I am when it comes to. So I'm at Tucson Airport. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm coming back to Pittsburgh. Okay, so we're there early, but the Tucson Airport's shitty. It's like so slow. It's like the worst airport I've ever been to as far as like getting through the line. The line barely moves. So I finally get up there. So you check your bag. We have to drop our bags off, and they have your IDs and your tickets and everything. They, at the US or American Airlines desk, and then you go to get in line. You're in line. I'm in line for like a fucking hour. It's like first thing in the morning. I finally get up to the guy, and like it says signs everywhere. Have your ID and your boarding pass ready. So I have my boarding pass. I'm holding it, and I pull out my ID and I hand it to him with my boarding pass. And the fucking guy goes, "What are you gonna do? Take me to your hotel room?" Dude, I fucking lost my ID somewhere, and I gave him my hotel card. I was like, wow. Dude, all of a sudden, like my whole body got super hot. Like, like you're like,
oh, I bet.
Oh fuck. So I go run it because I'm like, how am I even gonna get through here without a driver's license? So I'm running around, I'm looking. I went over to American Airlines thing, and they said someone found it on the ground, and they brought it up here and gave it to us. It's like, wow. Thank God. And then when I went back, the guy was like, he just waved me up front and skipped the line because he's like, I know you've been here for like an hour waiting to get in. And then you're like a retard. Oh, jeez, I said I wouldn't say that word. Damn it. It's like every show. So anyways.
I thought you were going to make it through this show for the first time.
I know.
Like, we only got a few minutes left. I better slide it in here real quick.
I know. I just had this long discussion with my family about trying not to say that word, and everyone talks about how that's a bad word to say. Man, I'm an idiot. So anyway, so I get up there, he lets me through, but I was like, oh my God, like talk about panic situation. And I'm with other people, and they're already through security, and they're like, like, what are you doing? Because they didn't even see me like do this, but I handed the guy my hotel card instead of my driver's license.
Were you still drunk or something?
No, I don't know what I was thinking. It was the same size as my ID. Apparently, I'm not paying attention that early in the morning.
Okay, let me ask you guys something real quick before we go here. I want to go through this list. I'm going to tell you if I had to pick one of my favorites, as in like if I could pick one job out of these 20, I'm going to tell you what it would be. I'd like for you guys to do the same. I'm not sure if you have all 20 in front of you, but hopefully you do. So my pick, without a doubt, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Fluffer. I'm probably going to go with Fluffer, but I'm not. Without a doubt. Just a little bit of a different semen angle. No, my pick without a doubt would be a police officer. I've always been fascinated with that, and I think that there would be a certain amount of excitement that would come with that job every day. I understand that there would be a lot of shitty things about it. It's obviously a very dangerous job. I personally think it would be exhilarating, and you would get a high or a rush probably almost every single day. My pick, if I could pick one of these jobs, would be police officer.
And I'll tell you why I put that on my list, because okay, you pull up behind, you're pulling someone over for speeding or a taillight out or something stupid. And every single time you walk up to that car, those people could legitimately shoot you. They do all the time. Like, or they could, you know what I mean? Like, there could be something very simple that turns lethal like that. So
I think why it would be awesome.
But you like
why it would be awesome because if they didn't shoot you, you dodged another bullet.
That's true.
And that would be a high every single day. And
then everyone in America, or I don't want to say everyone, 50% of the country hates your guts. It's kind of like TSA. Maybe 100% hate TSA, though.
Right.
I would pick a long haul truck driver. Couple reasons. A, I don't have to talk to anybody, which is great. B, get bored, you go pull in, pick up a couple lot lizards, and have yourself a party. And C, back to not having to talk to anybody.
Wait, what's a lot lizard? I'm just like an idiot. What is that?
That's a whore in the truck stop.
Oh, wow. Holy cow. Thanks, guys, for educating me. The reason why I put them on there is, you ever go on like a real long trip where you're driving for like 10 hours? Or I've been on trips where we've driven 14 hours.
Great.
Dude, for me, it's like it takes me days to recover from that. And if you did that every single day, that'd be exhausting.
Yeah, and always having to shower in truck stops, that would get old. Can I share?
If you're a long haul truck driver, you have to be a serial killer. So some of us don't really want to be.
Right. Let me tell you something really funny in terms of lot lizards. So a couple weeks ago, we went to Kentucky for a wedding, and we took my motor home. So obviously, when you pull into gas stations or truck stops or whatever the case may be, you can't park in normal parking spots. You have to park where the truck parking is at. So we were somewhere in Kentucky, and we pulled off at this gas station, and we got gas, and then I pulled around to park so I could go inside and get something to eat. And I had to park. It was basically a truck stop. So I had to park, obviously in the middle of all these trucks. So I go in. Mind you, my mother was with me, and she had already gone in when I was pumping gas, like to get food and stuff. So everybody else was in and out, whatever. Some people stayed in the motorhome as I parked, and I was like, all right, I'll leave it running. I had my dog and shit. I was like, I'm going to run and get something to eat real quick. I'll be back. So I go in, and I'm coming around from like behind where we went in to begin with. My mom was standing there looking for the motorhome. And I was like, well, you idiot. It's parked out back with the trucks. So I tried to explain to her where I was parked at. I was like, you can't see it from here, but it's down there between, these two big blue trucks. So she goes like, okay. She leaves with her bags of groceries, right?
Is it dark?
So, no, it's the middle of the day. It's the middle of the day. So I proceed to go into the McDonald's that's in there and order some chicken nuggets and take them back out to eat with me. So not a lot of time had gone past, but easily probably 5 minutes, which is kind of a long time. I go out, and my mother is just wandering aimlessly still right down to the middle of the parking lot with all these trucks sitting around. And I went out, and I was like, hey, I yelled at her, and she looked, and I motioned for her to come over, and she comes walking over, and she follows me over to the motorhome. And I said, what the heck are you doing out here? She goes, well, I couldn't see it. I didn't know where you were parked at. I said, geez, Mom, you can't do stuff like that. These people would probably think you're some type of lot lizard wandering around out here.
Maybe she's making a couple extra bucks.
Well, she had $40 that I don't know where they came from.
But honestly, I've been to a lot of truck stops at weird hours of night, just throughout life, travels. And it is a creepy, it can be. Some of them are really creepy.
This dude's
very creepy. Very creepy. When I travel with motorhome, there's 3 logical free options to sleep. 1 is a truck stop, 2 is a rest stop, 3 is a Walmart parking lot. I take a Walmart parking lot any night of the week.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, like rest stops are even creepy too. Actually, rest stops might be worse because No one's there. Like there's no business, there's no McDonald's there, there's no convenient gas station or any people working there. It's just like
Exactly.
random creeps at this thing, and they're just like, remember what was that, Something About Mary, whenever they like put the lights on the rest stop and it was just a bunch of dudes like running around naked like wild animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when rest stops really started to freak me out was when we were, I don't know, probably teenagers, I don't know, 15, 16 or something like that. You remember the sniper that was hiding in the trunk of his car, going around shooting people at like
PC
schools
sniper.
and stuff? Yeah, that's what it was. And they found him at a rest stop in the trunk of his car or something like that. And from that point forward, rest stops really started to freak me out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know which job I would pick if I had to pick these. Probably, I guess it depends on where I'm working, but maybe like a janitor if I had to pick a job. You know, you're working all day. Janitors aren't just cleaning things up. You know, I guess it depends on what you're doing now. If you're like a maintenance guy or are you a janitor?
Okay, well,
yeah.
just to be clear, the only janitor on either one of these lists is actually specifically janitor at the adult movie theater. You pervert.
You know what? For Nick's list, I just wrote janitor. I didn't, because he was breezing through them. I couldn't keep up. So that's the janitor you're talking about. Oh God, no, I'm not gonna be that.
Well, no, you already said it. That's what you
maybe
because you basically you were like, you're a lot of times you're just cleaning things up, and sometimes you get a little taste of something here and there, or you said something like that.
You know what's funny about this? I have them all scratched off, like because I tried to keep up with Nick's while he was saying them, and then I was scratching them off as he went. I'm like, janitor, I'm like one short, and like I didn't put it together that it was. Whenever I wrote it down, it was janitor. I would be the Ebola doctor because, like, you're immune. Like, okay, no matter who gets Ebola, the doctors always live. Everyone else dies. They throw them over. The CDC takes them over, and they're like, they live.
Well,
so,
you already got to choose one. You chose janitor at an adult movie theater. So, I can't think of a better way to end than that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Shit is an Ebola doctor, though.
Oh yeah,
dude.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be a strange existence. Not nearly as strange as wiping up semen on the glass at the movie theater.
Not as bad as the fluffer, but worse than the dentist.
Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We would like to encourage all of you to shoot for the stars, chase your dreams. If you have a career out there in mind and you don't think it's attainable, I assure you. You can do that job if you put your mind to it. If you want to compare notes, contact Adam or Nick directly. I don't care to ever talk to you about any of this stuff ever again. This was somewhat disturbing. I'm probably going to be up for a while now. I'm going to drink myself silly. Check us out next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to be into the month of October, and for the entire month of October, we're going to choose topics that are Halloween related or horror related. That's HORROR, not WHORE. Two very different topics. We're going to save that one for November. This is your host, Quaid McDade, signing off.
I guess I should hit stop.